Hey friends, Sleepy here, and welcome to another episode of my weekly gaming playlist series. It's Friday, so it's time for me to let you guys know about the games I've been playing. I'll give you guys my thoughts, my opinions on the games, whether I think you guys should check them out or not. Of course, I want to hear your guys' thoughts on the games I shared with you today. If you've played them before, let me know your thoughts on them. I'd also like to hear about the games you guys are playing, as that gives me ideas of new games to play and experience. So I do appreciate you guys sharing your games with me each week that you're playing. And if you guys have a recommendation on a game you think I might enjoy, please let me know. I'm always looking for new games to play and experience. I have a huge list actually from you guys, because I've been doing this for like 3 years now of this series, and so I do have a big list from you guys written down of games that I either need to play or I need to pick up at some point and then play them. So please keep the recommendations coming. Now I've got 2 games to share with you guys today. One's for the Xbox Series X and one's for Nintendo Switch. Now this first one I actually started playing back in June, but I put it on hold because I was waiting for updates, and that was Aliens Dark Descent, which this is a really awesome RTS mixed with XCOM, kind of a hybrid, but it's its own unique play style. Really interesting game. Survive the deadliest creatures mankind has ever faced. Dive into strategic, real-time, squad-based tactical combat to keep your Marines sane and alive. Equip, train, and level up your soldiers so they can survive the looming alien onslaught. A thrilling alien narrative campaign. You are the commander. Your squad is your weapon. Recruit, level, and gear up. So a really awesome game. Now this has been optimized for the Series X. So you have your performance mode you can turn on, or you can have, where it'd be more detailed with the graphics. It's a really good game. I'm absolutely loving the story in it. But like I said, I mentioned that I had actually stopped playing this because I wanted to wait for patches to be released, because the game was plagued with bugs at launch, and some people had game-breaking bugs in it, and it kept them from playing. So I decided to put it down and wait for the patches, which they have released patches for, which is awesome. So let's check out Aliens Dark Descent. Hey guys, today we're taking another look at Aliens Dark Descent. Now this is an awesome game set in the Aliens universe. It is an RTS / a mix of XCOM kind of gameplay style. So it's a really nice, fresh change for the Aliens universe, that it's not just simply a first-person shooter. Now don't get me wrong, I love my first-person shooters, and there's been some great ones in the Alien universe. But the universe definitely needed some other genres to represent the franchise, and so I was so glad that we got a new one, as I haven't played an RTS-style Aliens game since the PS2 and original Xbox days, when they had that Aliens, I think it was like Extinction or something was the name of it. So it's really nice to finally get a new one, and it's its own kind of hybrid, because it plays like an RTS, but also kind of like XCOM, but it has its own unique style. So let's check it out. It has fantastic music too, very atmospheric, taken right from the movies, plus it has some own original ones. Really gets you in the mood for playing this game. Now I had first started playing this game back in June of this year when it was first launched, but the game was released with a lot of bugs. It was plagued with issues and stuff, some graphical mess ups, and sometimes stuff in the campaign wouldn't work, and there was some people who encountered like a game-breaking bug where the game glitched and they couldn't continue their game. So I decided to stop playing it after the end of July and wait for some patches to come out. And so they released one in August, and then they released another one here in the beginning of September, and they fixed and addressed just tons of bug issues. They also added some new features to the game, which I'll show you guys here, which I have to do a new game. I've got 23% of the game completed on my regular campaign there. So you have different difficulty settings when you start the game. You can play it on story mode, which is the easiest. You can do medium, hard, or nightmare, which is super difficult. Or you can go over here to custom, is which I started my game on. And you can adjust things to your own. Maybe you want to have enemies' health higher or lower. You can adjust how easy they detect you, how aggressive they are. There's also the newest feature is the ability to get rid of the death clock. The death clock was a feature that a lot of people hated in this game, because once you reach, I think it's either mission 5 or 6 in the game, an overall death clock starts going, and you only have so many days to finish the game, beat all the missions and stuff. If you reach the end of the death clock without beating the final objective, you lose your game and you have to start all over from the beginning. So it really upset a lot of people. Depending on the difficulty you're playing on determines how much time you have, because you can adjust the death clock to be super hard, or you can even just turn it off completely, which is an awesome thing. You also have your saving system, which you can have it permissive, or you can have it where it's really difficult and only get like 2 saves. I don't recommend doing that because this game is brutally difficult, but we'll continue from my campaign I already have. So unfortunately, I don't know any way to turn off the death clock in a game that has already started before the patch.
There must be another entrance next to the ARC.
So unfortunately, I will have to play with the death clock on, but I'm okay with that. It is what it is.
Come on, team!
Another feature too that people complained about, which didn't bother me, but I know some people don't like it, especially if you don't play a lot of RTS kind of games, is people got irritated by how talkative your characters are when you give them commands.
Double time!
Where she said, double time there. Some people were irritated about how much they talk. They actually added the ability to turn it off. So you can turn that off if you don't feel like listening to them talk about that. But for me, personally, I've played RTSs for years.
Copy.
So
sentry gun.
That's not something that's ever bothered me in these kind of games. It just comes with playing these kind of
sentry
games.
Packed.
You play Command & Conquer example, and the characters are going to say, "Acknowledge, sir," when they move. So that's just something to be aware of. But if that's something that irritates you, you can remove that now from the game through the options menu, which is cool. So I like they have this overall map of the levels that you play as, and you have different levels which you can change through, and it'll have your different objectives that you have to do. You have an overall legend here that tells you what the different icons mean, because some stuff is locked, and there's items for you to find, and then you have your overall objectives that you can go through of the main objectives, but they also have side objectives for you to complete as well. You also have stuff where you can keep track of your Marines. So this game starts you off with a bunch of random Marines, but what's really cool is you can customize them. You can adjust their facial appearances, skin color, you can make them men or women, and you can adjust the different kind of color for their clothing that they wear, and all of them come out with different kind of traits. Like this one is clumsy, so sometimes they might mess up doing an action. So all of them do launch with issues. Like his accuracy is down 40% because he has poor sight. So there are different things and limitations you have to overcome. This person's got an unfit personality trait, so she's one of my new rookies. And then like this one here is a coward, so sometimes his bravery goes down in the middle of a fight, he might panic. So it's really cool. There's different things you have to overcome with the Marines in there. But as you play through the game and level them up, you can actually get rid of some of those negative traits with positive traits by leveling them up. And they level up as you play through the story and complete objectives. Sadly, they don't earn XP from killing aliens, which I think is kind of a missed opportunity, but it is what it is. And then you also have this cool codex, which you can go through and gives you information about the various objects, characters, vehicles. There's data pads, so little collectibles for you to find in the game that give you some insight into the story. Sometimes, characters will write a memo or something and you can learn stuff in the world. It's pretty cool. The different gear, going over the different weapons you have, because you have your iconic pulse rifles, you can unlock smart guns, flamethrowers and stuff, which is cool. You can go over the various different aliens, because there are some new aliens in this that weren't in the movies, which is cool. And then you have this cool assistant here, which is basically like the digital manual, and you can watch videos and tutorials on how to confirm and how to do different actions. I recommend when you first play this game, play the through that tutorial missions, and the first mission stuff will teach you how to play the game properly. So you can zoom out all the way up to here if you want. But you can also zoom the camera in really close, which I like to have it as close as possible.
Come on, team.
Oop, we're going the wrong way. I want to go back that way. Go this way. Show you guys some combat here real quick with some aliens.
Hurry up, squad.
So you do have to watch out while you're in these levels, because there is a detection meter. I'm currently undetected, so the aliens don't know I'm here, but the more you encounter them, the more aggressive they become, and the meter will keep filling up. If it gets to a
There's something around.
exclamation point where it's super high, they can actually send out what's called an onslaught, and they'll send a huge wave of aliens after you, and you can die easily in this game, because this is not a you're going out with machine guns and pulse rifle and killing tons of aliens.
Signals.
You know, you want to minimize combat as much as possible, because you don't want to get overwhelmed. What's cool too, you have the iconic motion tracker here, and you can see the little dots there and see the aliens on the screen. And you have cool things like the...
Come on, team.
Shh. Here's one.
And you have cool, like the you have these command here where you can actually do different commands. But you can also set up like the sentry guns. If you guys remember the guns from the Aliens movie. And so these come in very handy.
Sentry almost ready.
You also can make the game easier by when you go to this menu. You can actually, the skills menu, you can actually make the game paused, or you can have it where it slows down like this. I like to keep it on slow down because as the aliens approach you, it's easier for you to issue commands and stuff. So see that yellow bar here? That's a menu for them showing us where they are detection. If that gets all the way to red,
Hurry up, you slugs.
the aliens will have detected us. But what's really cool about the sentries is that that doesn't count against you for as far as detection. The aliens might run into the guns and they'll get killed by them, but it won't activate the detection meter because they actually didn't detect you. They just detected the guns. You also got to be careful with how close you get to the aliens themselves because they do spray acid blood and you can get damaged. There's also permadeath in this game, so if a Marine dies, the Marine is dead and you cannot get them back. So you have to be careful and manage their health. You also have to manage their psychological profile and their psyche because they get freaked out as aliens around and their stress level will go up and they can start getting what's called trauma and stuff. They might become paranoid and it can affect their performance, and then you have to bring them back to the ship to recover, and it can make them actually unusable for so many days of rest, which can really suck if you have somebody that you've leveled up a lot and then they're messed up with trauma. So you can go into different
Quiet. It didn't see us.
rooms.
Shit, they know we're here.
Check your vitals, squad.
See, his stress is up now.
Fuckers.
Check your vitals, squad.
Now you saw that. That alien grabbed my character. So, if I wasn't able to kill that guy before he took my Marine away, they'll be lost because there's little spawning points where they go. If they make it into there without you able to stop that alien, you'll lose that Marine forever. So it's important to focus on killing those aliens that try to take your Marines away. Your Marines can also get permanent damage to them, like they can have an arm blown off or a leg blown off, and then they'll get a prosthetic arm put on, because I had a guy who got his arm
They're heading our way. Okay.
blew off from an alien's acid, and then he has a metal arm. So it's pretty cool they have
That
those.
gun is a freaking
See, now it says my Marines are under heavy stress here with the yellow. So we need to find a room
I think we lost him.
for them to get their stress level down, because they get too much stress, you know, they're starting to have issues with their accuracy is down now, you know, because they're stressed out. So you can see there's the trauma meter there has one red bar, and as that trauma bar goes up, they can start getting different traumas and stuff that you can only cure at the ship. So it's a pretty interesting little game. Just wanted to show you guys a little bit more of it. You know, I've got
signals.
already 24 hours into this game. You know, I'm only on the 4th mission of 12 total. So it's definitely a game that you can get a lot of time out, depending on how fast you want to play through. Some people can breeze through the game real quickly, but I like to take my time and really just soak in the world and go through everything.
More signatures spotted.
Definitely suggest you guys check out this game, especially now that it has all the patches for the game. It's become a really good game now, and it's definitely one I think you guys should check out, especially if you're a fan of the Aliens games. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed that look at Aliens Dark Descent. Such a fantastic game. You know, I talked about how with the new patch they actually added some new features where you can actually disable that death clock. However, if you guys have already started your game before the patch, like I did, you can't turn off the death clock. You'd have to actually start a new game. And since I've got over 24 hours already into the game, I'm just going to keep playing the way I am, and hopefully I'll be able to beat the death clock. I have heard a lot of people had issues with it, but I've also heard people say that it's not as big of a difficulty as it makes it out to be, unless you're playing like on the super hardest difficulty. So I am looking forward to beating this game, and then I want to beat it again, as these are the kind of games that I like to play through more than once. I really love the story. Voice acting is done really well, and it's just a nice change of pace from having only first-person shooters for the Aliens universe. You know, I really love having a different genre for the Aliens franchise. Such a wonderful game. Definitely recommend you guys check out this game. You can get it on the Xbox, get it on PlayStation, get it on the PC. Definitely worth checking out if you guys are a fan of Aliens and you love games like XCOM and RTS and stuff. You'll definitely feel right at home playing this. Definitely check it out. And the other game here we have is for the Nintendo Switch, and I just got this here in the beginning of September, and that is Warhammer 40,000 Boltgun, which this is a retro style shooter, a boomer shooter as people call them these days, where it makes it look like it was a 90s first-person shooter released on consoles and PC, you know, like your old Doom and Wolfenstein and stuff. Really awesome, those. I love the Warhammer 40,000 universe, and this game is absolutely amazing. So I'll read you guys some stuff from the back. Load up your bolt gun. A modern homage to retro FPS. Purge as a mighty space marine. Blast and shred the heretics. So you do play as a badass space marine, and you're going on a mission to purge and kill heretics. You have your trusty chain sword. You also have your classic bolter gun, and other guns that you can find as you play through the story. Variety of enemies to go through, and just an overall really enjoyable experience. So let's check out Warhammer 40,000 Boltgun. Hey guys, today we're taking a look at a badass game, Warhammer 40,000 Boltgun. This is a retro style first-person shooter. Some people call them boomer shooters. So this is in the style as if this was made in the 90s. It's a really awesome game. Now this was released earlier in the year, but it was digital only at the time. You can get this game on PlayStation, on Xbox, Nintendo Switch, the PC. But in the beginning of September, they actually released a physical copy for Nintendo Switch. I don't know why the Switch is the only one that got a physical copy, but I wanted to get a physical copy. As soon as I heard they had one, I pre-ordered it from GameStop, and I picked it up at the beginning of September. I'm so glad to have this in my collection. It's a really awesome game. It did have an update when I first installed it onto my Switch, but I have noticed a few little issues here and there in the game, so it does look like it needs some more work with patches. I don't know if maybe it's just because this is a Switch version, and obviously the Switch is not as powerful as the Xbox or the Sony consoles, or perhaps they made it that way to make it kind of a throwback to how older games were. So I played this a little bit, so I'm going to show you guys level 1 here, as I'm currently on level 2, but I wanted to show you guys a little bit of the story here. You also have different difficulty settings. You have your low, your medium, your hard, and exterminatus, the hardest difficulty. So I've just been playing it on medium, but I do like to replay these games after I beat them on the normal difficulty and then play them on harder difficulty. So let's check it out. It does have some loading times, so I don't know if that was intentional to make it feel like an old game, because older PC games and older console first-person shooters had loading times. I don't know if they did that on purpose, or if maybe just the Switch version is made like that or not, but it doesn't really hinder the play, but it just is what it is.
Once touched by the hand of chaos, remains untainted. You are under the dominion of the Ordo Malleus to assist my investigations into a world that has already felt that death incidents. Gaia has been under the close watch of the Inquisition since the Green Skull War. The Forge world remains largely secure, but we have picked up concerning energy readings in the surrounding system. I have my suspicions, although we have not had sufficient time to pinpoint the origin of these foul energies. While most of the planet remains unaffected, it is my belief that rogue elements within the Adeptus Mechanicus may have been experimenting with a surviving fragment of Inquisitor Drogon's power source. Your mission is to assist me in locating a fragment of the power source. While I consider this threat extremely serious, your superiors have seen fit to second only a handful of you to my supervision. In the absence of a larger force, we shall pray to the Emperor that this does not develop into a more dire situation. This servo skull will guide you. In Commodus here is one of the few sanctified and preserved from the purging of Drogon's heretical archives. Together, you will search sites where communication has become sporadic. Should you encounter any opposition, you may assume they have been tainted by the ruinous powers. Suffer not the heretic to live. While I continue my investigations aboard the Crown, you will be deployed to a habitation zone you lost contact with several cycles ago. You should assume the situation to be extremely hostile. Beware, we do not know how far the taint of the arch-enemy spreads.
Man, that pixelated cutscene was awesome. I don't know if you guys noticed, but that very beginning of the dialogue, the audio actually didn't even start until like the first sentence was said. So I don't know if that's just an issue with the Switch version, or if the other versions are like that as well. It has great graphics as well, being, you know, the retro style here. You have your option menu here where you can adjust some stuff. You can adjust the gameplay, you can adjust the crosshair scale, the opacity of it, the controls. You can invert, like I like to play inverted. You can adjust your sensitivity and the move radical dead zone size. So you do have some stuff there. the Joy-Con to tell you what the different buttons do. So you have a little layout there. You can adjust the display for brightness and the depth of field. Audio stuff you can adjust. Subtitles. I always love having subtitles on in my games. The retro menu here where you can adjust how pixelated the game looks and adjust the palette and stuff to make it as pixelated as you want or to make it more sharp. They also have this accessibility menu, which is basically like a God mode menu where you can turn invulnerability on, give yourself all the weapons and infinite ammo. For me, I don't like playing with that kind of stuff on, so I won't turn it on. But let's check it out and show you guys how violent and bloody the game is. It's really cool. These old like 2D kind of models and how they rotate with you, like they did in the old 90s ones. And so you do have a lot of reading, since that servo skull speaks in a different language. So he's not speaking like English that you can hear him say, so you do have to read his text. But there's various health drops here that you can pick up. And each one of these little ones increases your health up to a maximum of 250. And now I've got it equipped right here at the beginning with just a chainsaw. But it's cool is you can lock on to enemies and do a lunging chainsaw attack. Just get grinded up. It's really awesome. Let's collect all this health here so we can get maximum health. You can also run too. This first level does act as a tutorial, so that little servo skull, he'll tell you how to play here. And what buttons to use. And you are playing as a space marine, so you are a big hulking badass. And when he jumps, the controller vibrates and you can hear the noise, because these dudes are absolutely massively tall. Much bigger than just like a normal human, so they do have some weight to them, so you do feel it when you play. And you can see the enemy's health bar and the name of the type of enemy that you have. And just like in those classic 90s shooters, you have to find keys and solve puzzles and stuff to progress through the stories. And the game does keep track of your time. As a lot of the old shooters from the 90s, you tried to get like the best time, run through the level as fast as possible, but also keeping track of like finding secrets and stuff like that. Ooh, just made it in time. Now we got the key. We'll get into the next section. Now we finally get our iconic Boltgun that the Space Marines are known for. So now we've got our gun. We can use the gun. We can also use the chainsaw to do melee attacks as well, which is really sweet. And I love this first part. There's a little dude down here, and we're gonna squash his ass. We gotta purge all these heretics in the name of the Emperor. There's also cool exploding barrels that you can find, you can use to kill enemies with, which is sweet. You can also rev up your chainsaw to do an attack. There's a secret on this level which I have not discovered yet that I would like to find. But that's the very first level, though. Just wanted to give you guys a little taste of the game. It's really awesome. There's a huge variety of enemies to fight, variety of weapons to get, and just an overall really fun story to go through, which I won't ruin it because I want you guys to be able to play it and play through it yourself. But I just wanted to give you guys a little look here at the very first level. So it goes over your overall time, how many kills you did in the level, your secrets, and the difficulty level, which I killed 100% of the enemies, but I have not found that secret yet, so I'm going to have to keep searching that level and trying to find it. But it's definitely one I think you guys should check out. If you love first-person shooters and you love old classic 90s shooters, definitely give Warhammer 40,000 Boltgun a try. You can get it on all platforms digitally, but if you want to get a physical copy, you can only get it on the Nintendo Switch, and it is pretty limited print run. So this is one of those games that if you want to get it physically, I would get it now rather than wait too long, because you might not be able to get one in the future easily, and it might become very expensive. It was only launched at $40 for the physical copy. Definitely think you guys should check out Warhammer 40,000 Boltgun. Hope you guys enjoyed that look at the Warhammer 40,000 Boltgun. I've loved this game. Played a few missions on it so far, but I do want to go and 100% beat the game. I do want to go through and get all the secrets and stuff. So I do plan to beat it and then go back and replay the levels that I missed the secrets on, because there's all kinds of different secrets for you to discover. And it's just a really fun game. If you guys loved the old classic boomer shooters from the 90s, you're going to really love Warhammer 40,000 Boltgun. It's awesome being able to play as a badass space marine and just slaughtering the heretics and purging the enemies. It's bloody and violent. The music is awesome. Voice acting is great. It's just a really good game, and I'm really glad to have this in my collection. So we'll do a quick little recap. I talked about Aliens Dark Descent, an awesome RTS/XCOM style game. It's its own unique game. You get to play with a squad of Marines, and what I really liked about the story was that the aliens are not known. Like, the universe doesn't know about the existence of the aliens, as the Weyland-Yutani Corporation has kept them hidden from everybody. And this takes place after the third Alien film, so all the characters have never seen an alien in their life, and they are scared and freaked out. And so that really adds to the atmosphere. This is a really dark and freaky game, and it does make you paranoid playing it, which is great. It's really awesome to play at night in the dark room with headphones on and all. It's just really gets you in the mood to play it. Great game to be playing here as we get closer to Halloween as well. Definitely think you guys should check it out. And then we also talked about Warhammer 40,000 Boltgun, an awesome retro-style first-person shooter set in the Warhammer 40,000 universe, where you get to play as a badass space marine. A lot of people call these boomer shooters, and I'm absolutely loving it. It has all kinds of classic Warhammer weapons and enemies. Great story. The graphics are awesome. All kinds of options for you to tweak on it. You can play this on all the different consoles. However, if you want to get it physically, you can only get it physically right now on the Nintendo Switch. And it had a pretty small print run, so if this is one you want to add to your collection, I would definitely look into getting a copy soon rather than waiting down the road, because you might not be able to get one. My local GameStop literally only got one copy, and 8 people, including myself, pre-ordered it. And thank God my buddy Todd went to pick up my copy on that Tuesday, and he was the first person there, and so he got the copy for me. The other people had to wait for another shipment of them, so I'm really glad that I got it in my collection. But definitely think you guys should check out Aliens Dark Descent and Warhammer 40,000 Boltgun. Let me know if you guys played either one. I'd love to hear about the games you guys are currently playing, and if you guys have a recommendation on a game you think I might enjoy playing, let me know. You guys always do recommend really fun games. I want to thank you guys for watching. Take care. You guys have an amazing day, and Sleepy will see you next time.